Welcome back. It's Auto Off Topic. I'm your host, Andrew, and who do I have with me?
I am your other host, Brad. What's up?
I don't know, improvising a new intro to throw you off.
Yeah, it does throw me off, as you've learned in the past. When you change, Change and I don't get along very well. So it takes me a little bit to get through there. But it's also been a couple weeks since we recorded, so maybe I didn't remember what the intro was supposed to be anyway.
We don't remember what we record episode to episode, so
That's true.
If I don't edit the episode the same day, or at least the next morning, sometimes I don't remember what we talked about.
You're listening to it, you're like, man, I made a good point.
Well, I'm like, what should I call this episode? I usually try to just pull it from something we said.
Right.
That's the secret. And then I'm like,
Secret Sauce.
What did we say?
So this episode will be titled The Secret Sauce.
And then we always appreciate the people that listen, but it's always funny when somebody comes up to us, we're at Cars and Coffee or something, and it's like, hey, about they start talking to us about something, and it's like an episode that was like a month ago.
Yeah.
And we're both like,
I don't remember that, but that's okay. Because once you get me going about it enough, I'll probably remember. Because if I cared enough to discuss it here, I obviously care enough to discuss it again. I just don't remember what I said.
I don't know if it's a brain thing that we know it's being recorded, that we don't commit it to memory or something.
I think it's just we're not committed to a script. So if we're saying something, it's off the cuff, but it's a true opinion. So we're going to say the same thing again if you hit us with the conversation again. But maybe our mind changed in the past 2 days. Who knows?
All right. So a little bit off topic. New cars. Some new car roundup. Because a big new car drop happened last week.
Well, there were two big new car drops in the past couple of weeks, and they're both from the same company.
Oh, that's true.
We never discussed the first one.
We didn't talk about the Ford Lightning, did we?
No, we did not. We probably should.
No, I think we recorded the day after the big embargo lifted, and then we just forgot about it. But
we heard all the info, but then kind of just recorded and didn't think anything of it. So
I'm into it, man. I mean, it seems really cool. They basically just took an F-150, put a full EV drivetrain in it, took where the engine would be, made it into a massive frunk, they're calling it.
Yep.
Which one of our other friends that daily drives a pickup truck said, he's like, that's super useful because he's like, pickup trucks are so long. He's like, I always try to back into a spot, and if I'm at the grocery store and somebody pulls in behind me, I can't get to the tailgate. So if I had like a front end I could just load stuff into, plus it won't get wet or stolen. It's way easier.
Yeah, it fixes the age-old problem of secure storage in a pickup truck. So if you wanted secure storage, you had to get a hard tonneau cover or a cap, which essentially took away a bunch of the functions of a pickup truck. It limited you to it limited you to cargo size.
Yeah.
So now you don't have to worry about that because you have the giant front trunk or frunk, and you still have the whole bed. So, and the thing doesn't seem to have like a cut down towing capacity from a normal F-150 either. In fact, I think it's got a higher towing capacity than a standard base model F-150.
It'll do like 300 miles without towing anything.
Yeah.
And which 300 miles is a work week for me. And the crazy thing is, I work for a company that does EVs. If I owned a vehicle like this, it would get charged every day. So, in theory, it would have unlimited mileage. Like,
most people don't do 300 miles in a single trip on a regular basis.
No, but it's 300 miles for me. Generally, every car I've ever owned, 300 miles is basically a tank.
Yep.
That's the way I think of it. That's what my threshold was. That the car, an EV, needed to hit 300 miles. Because for me, that's normal. I would fill up a tank. Basically every car, Stephanie's Crosstrek does better, but they also tricked fuel economy with that car by putting a massive fuel tank in it. Like it'll do like 450 miles.
Because it's got a 20-gallon tank.
Yeah, it's like 15 or 16 gallon tank for a little car. That's big for a little car.
Yeah, no,
Most
300
most
miles.
most of my cars are like 12 gallons, except for the Montero. But
300 miles is a pretty good standard. I think a lot of the mainstream electric cars have hit that now.
hmm
But it's neat to see the pickup truck come out and have that same kind of range. So, like I said, it's what they were trying to sell initially with electric cars is, well, you don't have to worry about it because you can charge it every night when you go home. Well, the problem
I would also do
lies,
that.
yeah, but the problem lies in the person who doesn't want to do that. They just want something they can drive for 300 miles and not worry about it until they have to do it again.
Yeah, I suppose
Um,
you could, or you don't have a charger at your house and you have to rely on public charging.
which would make
Um,
sense if you're like in an apartment complex or
yeah,
something,
because if your apartment complex hasn't put in chargers yet,
right?
and if you don't have 220 hookup in your garage area or outside, it takes a lot longer to charge on 110 versus 220.
Yep.
Um, so yeah,
And
but
then
it
hopefully
would
they have
definitely.
enough. Hopefully they
Sorry,
have enough chargers that are going to be more universal and not Tesla chargers in places too, because that's what's going to,
I
start
actually
pushing this.
I don't know what the charging standard is. That's a good thing to look up.
There may be a
'Cause
couple different ones.
there's a couple different ones. There's Tesla. There's like Chad Co or something, which I think is Japanese. And then there is a SAE with a J number, and I can't recall it right now. That I believe is US cars.
Okay.
I should really look that up actually.
Well, they should make it a standard or make adapters to make it a standard. Like
I believe most of them come with adapters. I don't think they allow you to have Tesla adapters or something weird like that.
probably.
Um, but yeah, it would definitely for me. It would take the if I had a bigger, eventually we would like a slightly larger house. It's nice to have a truck for doing house projects and not having to borrow one from a friend that has one or
Yep.
rely on them or whatever. So because they're busy doing their own stuff too, because they have a house and but whatever. Um, it would take a lot of the guilt out of just daily commuting in a big truck because it's just electric.
Yeah, 'cause you're not getting 10 miles to the gallon.
No,
You're just using electricity, and you're not using electricity at any bigger of a rate, it seems, than say. I don't know how they measure the e miles per gallon, but it doesn't seem like it's much less efficient than something in a Tesla range or anything like that. Like, you're not using more electricity to charge it,
no.
you know. So
Um,
it's a neat alternative now.
and the cool thing, what's smart about it is they kept it in the same shape and size as an F-150. So
And I
it's
think,
something that everyone is used to.
yeah, I think that's been an overlooked thing in most of the EV world. Is all these EV manufacturers are coming out with cars that look like an EV, and I
Yeah,
think they're missing a huge chunk of the market. People who don't want this futuristic looking thing, they want something that looks like the thing they already have.
yeah. See, I'm we're not opposed to EVs, but like I said before, they need to have some style to them. I don't. And if you want to get people to adopt EVs mainstream, they can't look like little egg cars for EV nerds. Like they need to be like cool looking or functional, which I think they've achieved with this F-150. So
Yeah, 100% because it looks like an F-150. There's nothing about it
yeah,
that says it's electric other than
yeah,
the badging, which is perfect.
yeah,
It's not that it's not cool, quote unquote, to drive an EV, but it's not cool to drive an EV that's an egg for a lot of people. So just taking your standard vehicle and turning it into an EV is the way to go. Now, it bears mentioning that this is not the first time that manufacturers have tried this. There was an electric Ford pickup in the mid 90s,
it was a
but it was
Ranger.
just, yeah, they had a Ranger and Chevy
I
had
think
an
it was only for
S10.
fleets. Yeah,
They were fleet sales, but it was too early to be a mass adopted thing. And the range was short; it had to be charged every night. And then it was kind of a niche market, but they did it
well,
before, so
I
this is
believe
not
they were only
uncharted
sold for
territory,
fleets. That's why.
right? And this is not uncharted territory, is what
No,
I'm saying. Like it existed before, and it was a good
and
idea then, and now it exists again.
we're of the opinion. A lot of people are of the same opinion that once the major manufacturers started throwing their weight behind this stuff, it's just going to get a lot better, a lot faster.
Yep. And I think you're going to see a lot less of the startup companies, which is, I guess, good and bad. You want to see more startup companies, but you also don't want to see garbage out there. So
I mean, I guess they just couldn't get to market quick enough. You know,
there's too many rules and too much red tape to cut through making a car. Like, I think we're going to see Tesla survive once all the mainstreams make, cars. They were not going to be as prevalent as they are now, percentage wise in the EV market.
I think it'd just be a niche
I think they'll
builder.
be, yeah, exactly. They're not going to be mainstream at all. But you're not going to see companies like, or some of the other ones. Rivian supposedly is pretty close, right, to making a car.
Supposedly. Um, oh, there was another one that was building trucks.
Oh, that
Was it?
one was a
It
wild
wasn't
story.
Livewire. It was
Oh,
something.
Livewire's the Harley.
No, but it was something like that.
There's another one that was a
Lightfoot or something.
no. It was a wild story with the investors and stuff in that one. That one was a scam from
Yeah,
the
that
get
stuff's
go.
always
Yeah,
sketchy. I
which
mean,
is
as
something
far
that
as
the mainstream manufacturers getting involved in this is going to cut out a lot of these scammy companies from trying to
yeah,
jump in there.
I mean, I like it, I like there was that concept of it was like the Alpha Motors, whatever. It
They
kind of looked like a little Alpha. You know,
they have
if
two of them.
that
They have a little pickup truck and they have a little car.
yeah, if that was real, if it comes out, that's also pretty interesting
Absolutely.
because it
Nikola.
looks cool.
Nikola was the one that was a disaster.
Right.
They were an absolute, basically just money grabbing scheme. That was all it really
Yeah.
was. And they got GM to back them, and then the guy who was in charge sold his shares and ran away, and nothing kind of came of it. So that was what I'm thinking of.
I mean,
That's a
Tesla sort of
disaster.
reminds me of like DeLorean, but that's just me.
He's crazier than DeLorean.
He is, but
He's not going to
that's
run out of money and resort to selling drugs.
no, but it does kind of remind you of that sort of like
Oh, it's that upstart company that's trying to break into the mainstream, and the big three don't want him there. So it's kind of it's always been that almost there manufacturer story with DeLorean or Tucker or what was the other one in the Bricklin or any of these guys where
yeah,
they had a product that came to light and they almost made it fully there, but they didn't quite get there. So Tesla has made it further than any of those other manufacturers. Obviously, they have more than one model, and they've been around for a decade at least now. So there's definitely a little bit more going on there, but there's also a lot more money I think behind Tesla than there ever was, even adjusting for inflation for those other companies in the past.
yeah. Well,
So
anyway, Ford Lightning's pretty cool.
yeah, I dig
Very,
it.
very
I'm
interesting to
behind it.
see where it goes.
Yeah. Well, it's
Um,
like we said before. I don't think the electric car takes away anything from the average car. We love our sports cars, we love our vintage, feel and sounding cars. But when it comes to a modern car, I don't even care what's powering it because, something like the Crosstrek or, my Volkswagen wouldn't be made better or worse with an electric driveline as far as driving experience goes.
yeah, I think you'll see a lot of older cars eventually be EV swaps as well.
No, I think so.
Um,
I think
I
so.
can think of like an old Mercedes diesel.
Sure.
It's pretty cool looking, but glacially slow
Yeah.
and super dirty. But if you did an EV swap to it, be cool looking and could easily keep up with modern traffic.
Yep. No, I'm 100% down with certain cars that are vintage being EV swapped. There's always going to be something to be said for, again, sports car sound, muscle car sound.
Yeah,
You don't want to swap all of them, but
yeah,
the
air cooled
occasional,
sound because
yeah, the
they
occasional
do.
cruiser is fine.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen it was random like on the morning news, like I don't know, they do like some like weird little eye poppers thing they call it, um, every once in a while, and it's like just like a puff piece type thing, but they're talking about in Maine, somebody converted it just like my mom's car. It was a Super Beetle, yellow convertible,
Yep.
but EV swap. Like it was like the first one ever done, but I was like, that's definitely happened before.
It's happened quite a lot,
I
actually. And this
think I,
entire company is dedicated to swapping Beetles and
I
Porsches.
think they're just reporting on it because it's Maine. It's local news. I don't know, but that's
Yeah,
a
I
type
heard
of
of this
car
new
that
thing up here. It's called electricity.
yeah, exactly. That's a type of car that would benefit from it pretty well, I think.
I 100% agree.
All right, so those EVs are cool. The Lightning's cool, and then Ford also dropped the new Maverick, which they were teasing. Uh, I guess there is a small pickup truck war coming.
Sort of. It's like a
Sort of.
small car pickup truck war.
Yeah, more El Caminos.
Yeah, Ford El Caminos. I mean, honestly, let's call it what it is. I mean, let's not mix words about it being a pickup truck war. And this is why I'm having a hard time getting super excited about it.
It is a pickup truck. You can
It's a
pick things up in it.
crossover. It's a crossover with the back cut off.
That's yeah. I mean, to me, that's what the Santa Cruz looks like. The Maverick looks more like a truck. I think that's what makes it more appealing to me.
It looks like a truck, but it's a Bronco Sport with the back cut off.
So
In the same way, a Honda Ridgeline is a Honda Pilot with a back cut off. They're crossovers with an open trunk.
yeah, I know, which is what an El Camino was.
Yeah, but that was before crossovers were a thing. It was still a car.
Yeah,
El Caminos deserve to exist. I'm not sure
sure.
about these. Well, there was a case for it then. It was a much more. So when the El Camino first came out, 1959, pickup trucks weren't super fancy, something you drive every day often. They were starting to get nicer for daily use, but they weren't still. They were still mostly work vehicles. And the El Camino was exactly what you were discussing earlier about the Ford Lightning. It was the pickup truck for the homeowner who didn't need a clunky pickup truck, but wanted something that drove like a car. So it made sense at the time, I think. Which I guess, as I'm saying that, is creating the case for the crossover because
Yeah.
it's the station wagon, but the person doesn't want a station wagon. So
Well, I
I'm
mean,
just going to
station
stop there.
wagons can fit a lot of stuff. Yeah, I mean, we
Yes,
both have station wagons, but
sure.
there's certain times when you just need. You'd be like, man, it'd be really cool if I didn't have a roof back here for this one time.
Yeah, I get it.
If you want to
So,
put a bike in there without putting it on a roof rack,
so it sounds to me like you're making the case for an El Camino over a crossover-based Ford Maverick.
no, because El Caminos are only two doors, and it's really annoying to only have two doors and a bench seat when you have a family and a dog and all the stuff that goes with those things.
Okay, so Subaru Brat. Now you have 4 seats.
Yeah. I mean, hey,
Just put,
Subaru
just put
Baja.
that. If you put a rear-facing child seat in the back of a Baja, would you have to face it towards the cabin?
I don't know.
Seems like a bad idea anyway, so let's just not do it.
yeah, there's no. I don't even know how you secure it.
It's got seat belts, just like a normal seat does.
Yeah, so, but speaking of Subaru, like the Baja, I mean, I guess they were like 10 years too early.
Change. Sure. Listen, I like the Baja. I always have. I always looked at it as a 4-door El Camino, if you will, a 4-door Ford Ranchero, a 4-door Subaru Brat. I thought it was a neat little thing. It doesn't have a ton of space in its bed, but again, neither do any of these new trucks that are coming out. Oh, I just said trucks. Neither do any of these new rear cabless crossovers that are coming out. So, I listen. I sound like I'm down on the idea. I'm not down on the idea, but I'm not thrilled with them being based on crossovers. I'd rather they be based on cars.
Why? It's the same height.
No, they're tall. They're crossovers. That's the definition of a crossover. It's a tall car.
Because it's easy entry.
I don't need easy entry. I'm not that old yet. It's fine.
This is
It's
the
a car.
appeal of it, that it's like a truck.
Right.
Not
Well, I
quite
want
a
them
truck.
to market it directly to me, who's not going to buy one regardless.
Yeah. You're like, you're the one that like skews the focus group, and they're like, what is this result? Throw it away.
Yeah. And they're like, what did he buy? A used Volkswagen. Okay, fine. I don't care his opinion.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, regardless of making fun of them and calling them rear cabless crossovers, the Ford Maverick is actually pretty neat. I'm not gonna lie.
I think it's pretty cool. I mean, it's weird
Yeah.
that it's, well, it makes sense that it's front wheel drive only because if you're going to make a base model like small pickup truck used to be rear wheel drive only, which were really annoying in the winter because they had no weight in the back.
Yep.
Um, so you might as well just make it front wheel drive.
There's an all-wheel drive option.
There is,
The base model is front-wheel drive.
and
That's what makes sense to me.
it's hybrid, and
Optional.
it gets like, yeah, the hybrid gets like 40 miles a gallon.
Yeah.
Um, and it's like kind of plain Jane looking, but I like it.
No, it's got that.
Understated.
It's a box.
Hmm.
It's a very simple, clean design. We talked about it a little while ago amongst ourselves that we haven't talked about the Santa Cruz yet, but the upcoming Hyundai Santa Cruz is like the exact opposite.
I think Santa Cruz is gross. I don't
Yeah,
like it at all.
it's an overstyled car versus an understyled car, and you and I, for the entire our entire lives of loving cars, have always gone for the understated car, or 9 times out of 10,
I
the understated
don't
car.
like new Hyundais the way they look. I'm sure they're fine cars, but to me, it's like they're like, well, let's look at Toyota and Subaru and let's make our styling like it, but more extreme.
Yep. Well, that's what they're trying to do. They're marketing towards that. They want people to
Yeah.
look at it and go, "What is that?" But then that only works for the first month they're on the road, because then 100,000 people have bought them and everybody knows what it is.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just a Hyundai.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
no, the Ford Maverick is good. I'm okay with it. One of the things that's cracking me up is that it doesn't matter what Ford calls something, the general public is going to get mad about it.
What do you mean the general public?
The people who like the general public of car people, I guess I should say.
Yeah, I was like, I don't think nobody remembers what a Maverick was. Like, the targeted buyers for the new Maverick weren't born when a Maverick existed. So
Yeah. But people are saying, in like car groups and stuff, they're like, I can't believe they ruined the Maverick name. Like, wait, hold up. Back the truck up. Back the Maverick up. Was the Maverick ever something that was a good, like, was it a
wasn't it
great
just
vehicle?
like a mid-size economy car
It
from
was
the 70s?
Yeah, it was Mustang 2 kind of size. It was and I mean, they were
Oh,
neat. They made a Maverick Grabber with a 302 and a 4 barrel. That was kind of cool.
better looking than a
But
Mustang too. I'll give it that.
sure, but it wasn't. It's not like a hallowed name from the the halls of Ford that we can't call a pickup truck. Like, I can sort of see the anger towards the Mustang Mach E, and people are real mad about the F-150 Lightning, but
The
there's
Lightning makes sense.
it makes sense, yes, because it's electric powered. But I mean, I don't know. That'd be like me getting mad that Dodge was like, we're calling this new economy car the Colt. Like, no, because nobody gave a shit about the Colt. It's only a few people. Like, only a few people care about Mavericks. There's no, and they didn't exist pre like 1970. They're not like some crazy sports car with a huge racing history, and people have Maverick tattoos in their backs like Mustangs. It's not the same.
It'd be weirder if they called it the Edsel or something.
I mean, I'd be down with it, but I need to give it a different grill. So I think it's funny that people get so up in arms about it. And it was
Oh,
the same
wait. They could have called it the Ford Easel.
Edsel.
Edsel.
No, it's terrible. I'm glad you don't work for Ford, because I definitely wouldn't be buying it then. And it was the same with Mitsubishi people when they came out with the Eclipse Cross. It's like, who cares? It doesn't matter anymore. There's nothing.
Eclipse has been dead for so long.
Yeah, even the last 2 generations of Eclipses were terrible. So, and on top of it, Lamborghini makes an SUV. Porsche makes an SUV. There's nobody cares anymore.
Yeah, the Lamborghini SUV is called the Urus.
Yeah,
terrible.
It's terrible. Yeah, it doesn't matter anymore. This is a Maverick. And also, for those who do not know, the Maverick has actually already been a truck for the past 25 years.
Yeah, like South America or something, right?
Yeah, in like Brazil, I think it's made. There's a little SUV. It's a little, boxy looking thing. It looks kind of like a, oh, I don't know, like a bigger, more symmetrical Nissan Cube.
Yeah, I think they called it like a Puma in Britain, maybe, or Europe.
Oh, the Puma's a small economy car.
It's like a Puma
Puma truck,
Puma
Puma
Cross or
Cross.
something.
But anyways, the Maverick. It's not like they took the Maverick name from 1970 and expected people to think it's the same car. No, there's been a Maverick almost all along. It's just not been sold in this country. Which honestly, I didn't think this was going to be sold in this country either when they first started teasing it.
Well, here's the thing. There's probably a couple of reasons why they decided to call it the Maverick. Because one, there's a new Maverick movie coming out, so that's going to buzz like search, right? That gets
Okay.
it. That gets it in the
Oh, that's
zeitgeist.
the new Top Gun movie, right?
Yeah, the
Okay.
sequel. I
Yeah,
think it's just called Maverick.
I think so.
And so yeah, you're gonna have that in the zeitgeist. Then you get it's also kind of like it's kind of the way the truck is marketed, right? It's like you're a Maverick to drive it, right? That's kind of the
Okay.
angle they're going for. I don't know.
Uh,
Yeah,
okay.
I mean it's marketed at like young city dwelling people that need a practical car, and it's got that cool like bed. You can like put 2x4s in it. It's gonna be more money than dually bars right now, but
Right.
you can like arrange them so it makes up because it's only like 4 feet long. It's 4 feet
Yep.
wide.
Yeah, they put a bunch of notches in there so you can place wood in there to extend it out for a platform
Yeah,
and
so you could
make
carry a
different
4x8
levels and
sheet of plywood in there, and
yeah,
then the tailgate will like ratchet halfway up or a quarter of the way up to like it lifts up so that it's level with the rear wheel well arches.
yep, so you can put
So,
something flat across.
yeah,
Yeah, it's a
so
very well thought out vehicle.
yeah, and then they have a spot in the interior that they're going to release the specs for that you can 3D print stuff to hook to it.
Okay. So like
So,
all your accessories and stuff?
yeah,
That's neat.
yeah,
That's different. So it looks like the Ford Maverick was sold in Australia as a rebadged Nissan Patrol.
that's
It was
weird.
sold in Ford. So the Nissan Patrol actually was sold here as the QX80.
Yeah,
Um, it was sold in Europe as a rebadged Nissan Terrano,
that's
which
so
is the one
weird.
I was talking about. And then from '01 to '05, the Ford Escape was called the Maverick in China.
Ugh.
So there's
Those are
definitely
those are
some.
terrible vehicles.
Yeah, I don't think there's much use for an Escape anymore, is there? I mean, with the Bronco Sport coming
I
out
think that's
already.
what a lot of people are saying. The Escape's probably going to disappear, but I
Yeah.
think maybe the appeal of the Escape is that you can get it in a hybrid. I don't think the Bronco Sport does a hybrid yet.
Well, I'm
Maybe
sure. Well,
they'll switch to it.
the Maverick is based on a Bronco Sport chassis, and it comes in a hybrid. So I'm sure the Bronco Sport hybrid's not far behind.
Hmm.
It's the Maverick is the same truck underneath. Ugh, I said it again, same car underneath.
Which I've seen quite a few Bronco Sports around.
Yeah,
They're way better looking than Escapes.
I mean they have style. So
That's what it is. It's just it's that
yeah,
retro style. It just works. Just
yeah,
the slab sides and the round headlights.
yep.
It
Nope,
just
it looks
kind of
good.
it emotes that classic SUV look,
Yep,
and it just makes it feel less like a goofy
less
modern
like a
look-alike
crossover.
crossover.
Yeah, because they all look the same otherwise.
And then it looks like a baby. Are the new Land Rovers?
Yeah, yep.
Which I saw one in traffic. I was like, that's pretty cool looking. Like
The new Defender.
the new Defender. Like it's kind of future. You futurize the Defender.
Yeah, no, I dig it. And I don't hate the Bronco Sport.
I'm not gonna buy one, but they're good looking.
Yeah, yeah. Again, it goes against my. I don't want a crossover, but I don't begrudge somebody else for wanting a crossover. I mean, maybe a little, but I don't actually. Um, but it's not as offensive to me as all the other crossovers are. Like Ford's own Escape. Actually, when Ford's Escape first came out, they were kind of similar shape to the Bronco Sport.
Yeah,
They morphed into like a smaller Ford Edge somewhere along the line.
yeah.
I'm not sure how that happened, but they
Whatever.
weren't terrible looking trucks when they came out. Hopefully, the Bronco Sport won't do that either. But I don't know. I like seeing vehicles on the road that look good because I have to see them.
Yeah.
You know,
All right.
right?
All right. Well, we've done 30 minutes on new car roundup, so
We didn't even
I
mention
think
the
we'll
Santa Cruz
wrap
to
it up.
compete against the Maverick.
Yeah, it's interesting, I guess. It's just to me, it's overstyled.
Well, it's got
It's
hidden
more expensive.
headlights, which are strange. But they're not hidden in traditional like pop up style. They're like when they turn off, you can't see them because they're built into the grill, which is kind of neat. But does not. But it does. It's neat, but it doesn't look good. I think they're trying. They may need to rethink their marketing and their trim levels because it's supposed to come out with like a $25,000 base model,
Yeah,
and the Maverick is supposed to come out with a $26,000 top of the line.
yeah,
So for 21 grand, you can buy a base model. So that's going to be a huge, and a top of the line Hyundai one is going to be 35 grand. So I think that's going to be maybe it's in between the Honda Ridgeline and the Ford Maverick, I guess, right?
Hmm.
Um,
Well, we'll see.
I don't know. 17-year-old me is way into the Hyundai Santa Cruz because it's got a 270 horsepower four cylinder. But
Yeah, but I don't like the way it looks, and I'm
yeah,
sure it's all auto CVT.
no, with the 275 horse four cylinder, they kind of have a dual clutch. So
All right.
at least they'll have a little bit of yeah. That's the only advantage that truck has. I would probably still buy a Maverick over it. The Maverick probably also has a CVT,
Yeah. No. Anyway.
but we're
All right.
not buying it for performance, I guess.
All right. Cool. Did you do any old car stuff? Their stuff, project cars? Anything?
Oh, project car stuff. Ordered some parts,
For what vehicle?
everything.
Everything.
A bunch of parts got delivered to my parents' house in Massachusetts for the Yellow Colt. So that when I'm
Oh,
out there
okay.
next time, we can put that together. Got all new gaskets and all new ignition parts. Um, the ignition parts that I didn't get last time, so I got some. When I was out there, I intended on making it run, and it didn't happen.
Yep.
Because the story we already heard. But I had bought plugs, wires, cap, and rotor when I was there. But I didn't buy points and condenser because I wanted to switch it to electronic ignition.
Mm-hmm.
So I ordered the electronic ignition kit for that as well. So that's all out in Massachusetts, ready to go. I ordered all the suspension for the Eclipse. I got the
Oh, okay.
same package you did with the G20.
Yeah.
The car rode nice, handled nice. It's pretty much perfect for what we need. So I had the Tyne S-Tech springs with the KYB GR2s.
Yeah. So the S-Techs are interesting when you look into them. They are the stock spring rate
Yeah,
for the vehicle. That's the
just
point of it.
lower.
Yeah, that's the point of the S-Techs. They have different spring lines.
Yeah, so I ordered the struts and the springs, and I ordered all new strut tops. And I ordered the new bump stops and bellows kit for all of them. And the only thing I haven't ordered yet is I want to get the caster bolts for the bushings for the control arms.
Oh, yeah. And then you'll want I have a set. I can just mail them to you because I'm not going to use them again. I've got a set of white line camera bolts.
Okay, cool.
I'll just give them to you.
Cool. And then I'll need to find a good alignment shop out here because I don't know of one yet. So
Yeah, I mean, really, with those camera bolts, I just kind of crank them over as far as they'll go
right.
because they only go to -1 or something.
Yeah, I probably won't have all the parts for this weekend. So hopefully by next weekend I'll be able to do the whole swap. Plus, I think we're going camping this weekend, so yeah, I should have all the parts to do all the swap so that I can take the car because we're going to Radwood in San Francisco, NorCal Radwood.
Yep.
So I'm going to be driving it up there, and then the day after Radwood, we're doing a cruise through the what do you call it? Canyon Drive on Sunday morning early
Just
with a bunch of sports car people. So
double check your front control arms because they're not very expensive to get, and you can
okay,
just replace them pretty easily.
I'll take a look at them. The car doesn't have
Yeah,
any rust on it though, so I don't think that'd be an issue.
they're probably fine. Just make sure
Yeah,
the ball joints are good and that the inner.
the
So
ball joints are
there's
good. I put 2 new ball joints on it when I got it,
okay, all right.
so
So
those are brand
I
new.
had uh on the original control arms and the talon, the front inside bushing went bad and the whole arm would move.
Does that only
Um,
come with the control arm?
that one's pressed in.
Okay,
It's different from the rear one and the ball joint, but you
because the
can
rear one's the
literally
one that has the
yeah.
caster bushing on it.
But you can just jack it up and then like feel it because the wheel will swing like not like turn on the turn on the knuckle like if the wheel could move on a arc.
Okay,
You know what I'm saying? Like that's how it
yeah,
moved. It was weird. But
I'll take a look
just
at it
double
and I'll
that
look at
check
the
that. It's
prices.
probably fine.
Maybe I'll buy them anyway if they're cheap enough, and just because I'm refreshing everything while I'm in there. So
Well, here's the thing. So I found it was annoying with the aftermarket ones when I went to put in the caster bushings. The aftermarket rear bushings were like pressed on versus like the originals just slid on, and I had to like
okay,
cut one off. It's really annoying.
interesting.
Um, but yeah, if you can just pop them off, it's much easier.
But I think all that will make a nice difference in the car, and then it'll be all set up just in time to head up to that
Yeah.
Canyon Drive at the end of the month, beginning of next month, I should say.
Yep.
So just again, I need to find a good alignment shop out here because I don't have one yet. I don't have fast track around the corner
Do you
anymore.
have a
So
spring compressor or?
I don't have one, but Arizona Jordan does. So
All right. Yeah,
be good to go.
it's those aren't too hard to do. They're not too stiff.
Yeah.
But I bet the rears will go on without much compression. Actually, maybe even the fronts because maybe not. But
The bonus plan is if I can get it done in time, I'm gonna have the wheels redone before we go too,
hmm.
because they look like trash, and I want them to look nice, and it's gonna cost less than buying a new set of wheels. So that's gonna be the plan, I think. Oh, and I ordered the harness to put my old Nakamichi stereo in it,
Oh, nice.
so we'll have a radio for the drive. So
Yeah,
because it's a solid 12 hours from here to San Francisco, so.
yeah. So that's a good setup. Um, did you do anything else for your cars or?
Well, I worked on the steering some more, but there's no new updates, so
All
I
right.
have a couple of thoughts on that, but I don't want to get into it too much.
Yeah.
Um, I drove the Cressida, which is nice because it just drives.
Yeah, that's cool.
I did a couple of the Saturday shows this past Saturday. It's funny. I'm getting full into summertime out here, where it's surface of the sun in the middle of the day.
Yeah, you guys
But
have quite a heat wave going right now.
yeah, it's a little warm. It's actually, even for here, it's been hot.
Yeah.
The whole west of the country is kind of locked in a weird place right now. But yeah, it's been like 113, 115 degrees. But at nighttime, however, it's not terrible. So it's funny trying to
Everybody
get
turns
my
into vampires.
yes. Well, it's funny just becoming used to this whole culture out here of how you do things until 10 o'clock and then again after 7. But in between 10 and 7, you just kind of stay in the house.
Mm-hmm.
Or you have a pool, or like we went last weekend, we went down to Lake Pleasant with a couple of, inflatable floaties and floated around the lake for like 4 hours. So that's not a bad thing either. But so like on Saturday, I went to the 424 Supercar Saturday. Obviously, I don't have a supercar, but anyway. And it starts at 7 a.m. now. During the wintertime, it starts at 8.
Hmm.
So everybody now gets there at 7, and by 9:30, it's pretty empty.
Yeah.
So, and then I went home, spent the day doing things in the house. Actually, I worked. Yay for me! So much fun. And then after 7, after it was dark, I got back in the car and went to a different show that night. That went until
That's
probably
cool.
9:30. So it's kind of neat how that works out, because you have your whole middle of the day to do whatever kind of stuff you want to do, or work if that's the case in this case. But overall, it's a neat, I don't know, it's a neat juxtaposition of what I'm used to there, where you do things from 10 to 5. You know,
Mm.
so I don't know. It's neat. It helps. That's how you are able to do things year round. You know, you just got to
Yep.
adapt a little bit. So one thing I will say is that I've been doing a ton of research into AC for old cars because I'm gonna need it.
It's
So
nice. It's real
yeah,
nice.
it will extend the hours when I can use the old cars because you don't just sit in the house in those hot hours. You want to go somewhere and do something, also indoors probably. But it'd be nice if I could take a vintage car with me. So I've been looking at a couple of options, and there's some interesting stuff out there in the year of 2021 for putting AC in old cars. Everything from electric, like full electric, to
Hmm.
hooking up a traditional compressor to the engine. But I was talking to uh, Arizona Jordan because he's a car stereo installer um, about bigger alternators and how big of an alternator we can put in some of these cars, and some of them are pretty neat to run more voltage in an old car without making any modifications other than to the alternator connector. So I could run something like an electric AC and a radio without
Hmm.
drawing down too much on the car. So I don't know. We'll see. Lots of learning to do on all that stuff, but we'll get there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool. I registered for a Track Night in America
Oh, did you?
for the end of July. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna run it in the Gallant, I think.
Excellent.
Uh if not, I'll use a G20.
Are you
Um
allowed to decide like at moment of what you want to use?
yeah.
Okay, cool.
I mean you register with the car, but like if you just show up with the car, what difference does it make? It's
I guess.
you're registered. It's
Yeah.
the run group is not dependent on your car, it's dependent on you. I just signed up for the novice run group, which is at Thompson. I haven't never done a track day there, and the last time I did a track day was at NHMS in 2008. So I would consider myself a novice. So
Sure.
plus a bunch of my coworkers are real into it, and we're all going the same day. So
Oh, that makes it even better.
yeah,
And in my lifetime car person here, I've never done a track day. So
yeah, track day is America, pretty cool. They go from like usually like 3 in the afternoon to like 9 at night. Um, so it's like kind of you don't lose your whole day. I mean, you kind of do a little bit, but it's also like nice to not because when you do them in the summertime here, it's still hot.
yep.
At least from 3 to 9, like by the end, it starts to cool off. So, um, but then I was like looking at the cars, like, well, I haven't. The struts are in it, or the struts that came with it. I don't know how old they were when I got it, and I put like 40K on them, and I'm like, maybe I should swap them out for some feels. So I'm kind of going back and forth on that
Okay.
because
I
it's
know we were talking about the options that you have now because there's a Tine setup that's actually made for an Evo that would technically fit your
yeah,
car, right?
yeah, but I might as well just spend the money on feels because it's just I will never get rid of the car. So what difference does it make? I might as well just put the coilovers on it.
Right.
Plus, like you
Unfortunately,
said to me, they're when they wear out, you can just send them back
they're
to Feel.
they're rebuildable. Yeah.
Yeah, and you look at Feel and what they're doing, you're like, I think they'll be around for a while. Like they're pretty well established now, so they've got like a lot of pro drifters using their stuff. So
And I think even if Feel isn't around, they're universal enough parts they could be rebuilt by any kind of suspension specialist in the future.
yeah, I mean that's the thing with Feels is they're definitely like overseas parts, but they're assembled here.
Yep.
Um,
Which actually, I also learned that's the K Sport story too. It's probably a lot of the same parts.
yeah,
I learned that K Sport is actually here in town. They make them right here in Phoenix.
hmm
So I just looked up K Sport, the Track Night in America, and it
yeah,
looks like the majority of them that are closer to me are not that close to me.
yeah. It just depends on venues.
Yeah, there's a couple around LA at Auto Club Speedway.
What's wild is like there was like one road course here in 2005 in HMS, New
Right.
Hampshire Motor Speedway. And in the last 15, almost 20 years now, they've opened up like 3 or 4, maybe 5 new road courses, which I never thought I would see. I thought that you would only ever see racetracks closing.
Right.
Um, so there's quite a few around here, and like the one at Lime Rock sold out like super fast, um, which that would be cool to do. But they do one at Palmer. They do one at Stafford. No, not Stafford. I'm sorry. That's a little oval track
Circle
at,
track.
at
Yep.
Lime Rock, Thompson.
Yep.
And I think they do one maybe at Club Motorsport, maybe not.
I did not
Might
see
be
one at
different.
Club Motorsport. I was just
Might
looking at the
might be a
entire
different
schedule.
number. Might be a different club that
Yep.
does, because there's a couple local groups that do a bunch of track days here too. Like it's super common to do track days now. Like it was maybe there was 1 or 2 groups that did it, 15, 20 years ago. Now there's like 5 or 10 or something. Like it's
Yeah, it looks like I can. So the closest one to me is about 5.5 hours away, which isn't. I mean, not terrible. I guess if I'm gonna make a weekend out of it. It's at Auto Club Speedway in Fontana,
yeah.
so it's a neat looking track layout.
But yeah, you could do it. Flush the brake fluid, throw some pads, the Eclipse. You could do it in the Eclipse.
Yeah, you got me thinking. Well, the plan eventually, there is a group that runs in Laguna Seca and a couple other tracks in Southern California
Yeah.
that does all vintage sports cars. So the plan was eventually to get the Colt up to spec to run that.
Well, that's the thing, right? You don't want to go out with I don't want to do like a time trial, which
No, I just want to have
that has
fun,
its thing. But that can spiral quickly, right? If you get really into it, like I
just
want to go
like
faster. I
just
want
like any
to,
sport.
yeah, right. So if you can keep it casual to a track day, it's just like hot lapping. Especially around here, it's so hard to find any type of roads to drive on that aren't populated. It's nearly impossible here in the Northeast.
Right.
So like to actually get to ring your car out without having any fear of oncoming traffic, getting a ticket, like it makes these track days really appealing.
Yeah.
Um, and like just, I guess once you find the right run group, because they will. That's the other thing. They are like they don't have instructors ride with you, but they have instructors watch everybody while they're out there,
Okay.
and they will move people around up and down in classes. So like if somebody registered for like intermediate and they really shouldn't be, they'll move them down, and vice versa, move people up. And they are pretty clear when you do the meetings. Like there's no way to win this. There's a lot of ways to lose it.
No kidding, right?
Yeah. So you kind of just like watch your mirrors, and if somebody's coming up behind you, it's just like give them the point by when you're in a pass. Like they have marked passing zones, which I think is typically like the long straight at Thompson. So you can pull over whatever side they want you, and you point the person by and let them pass, and everybody goes on their way. And it's just kind of like I don't know. You just want to run the car through the gears and not have anybody bother you, right? That's what everybody's looking for.
Yep. No, get out there and enjoy your car for what it's for.
Yeah.
So we do have a couple of local tracks here. So just not SCCA ones. We have some NASA ones.
See, the cool thing about the track night is like, other than having an open top car, you don't need to have a roll bar or anything. It's just factory seatbelts. Whatever the current helmet is. I think like the most current you can use is like a Snell 2015 maybe.
probably.
Yeah. Maybe
Speed
2010 might be the
Arizona.
oldest. I think they usually do like a 10-year. No, which actually wouldn't be. That'd be too old. It's now 2021, so 2015 would probably be the oldest.
So yeah, it looks like in October they start up this year out here. So there's a few different people that run them at Arizona Motorsports Park.
And then the other appealing thing, as opposed to like an autocross or a rallycross, is just that the seat time is much longer.
Yep. Yeah, no question.
Which I keep meaning to get to one of the local autocrosses here, but we'll see. So anyway, contemplating that. Because I do feel like that car doesn't ride that great anymore. I just don't notice it because I don't drive it enough. But after driving the G20 on the new suspension, I'm like, yeah, this should probably drive better.
Well, you also have the H&Rs in there, which are probably stiffer, right?
They are. It rides decent. I mean, we drove it to Atlanta, right? It wasn't.
Yeah, it wasn't terrible. It wasn't unbearable.
No. But also, like I said, I bought that car with 125,000 miles on the chassis. Whenever those struts were put in, I don't know. They also had white line lowering springs on them when I got it. With the bump stops had deteriorated to nothing, like the original ones. Those like pink foam, they just were gone. So I don't know. And I already had one of them. One of the rear AJXs already blew out, and I just had another used one off of one of my cars. I just threw it in there. So
it could stand to be redone.
They could definitely. Sure. They're like, who knows? I bet if I took them out, they'd be like the G20 ones. You push them down, they don't come back. So, it's time to do it. It's a car that I love and I'm going to keep. What difference does it make?
No, you might as well.
Especially, I like them in the Talon. The Talon rides so nice with them because I think you got to ride in that with them.
Yeah, when you first did it, I did.
Yeah. So anyway,
the only reason I didn't go with that setup with the Eclipse was the cost factor. That's $1,000 less to put all new springs and struts in than it is to.
Well, that because you might not keep the car,
and I may not keep the car. Exactly.
That's the thing. I could have put full coilovers in the G20 too, but I don't. I might not keep the car, so
yeah,
it doesn't make sense.
So when you do these track nights, how much seat time do you actually get?
I think there is 3 or 4. There's definitely 3, maybe 4 20-minute sessions.
Okay. Because I'm looking at this one that's out here at Wild Horse Pass, and it's 4 20-minute sessions.
20 minutes is longer than you think when you're on track.
And I know that from just from karting. You're out karting for 5-10 minutes, or probably 5 minutes, and a couple of those, and you're like, man, this is rough. But it looks like the track night in America thing, there aren't very many around here, but there's at least 3 tracks within an hour of here. So, or within 2 hours, I should say. So there's plenty of stuff going on.
Yeah, and you don't have to make it serious. Like, it doesn't, going to a track day doesn't mean turning your car into a race car.
No, it just means using the car you have to do some hot laps.
Yeah.
So we get in Chandler, we have, the Bondurant facility. We have Wild Horse Pass, it looks like. We have Indy Motorsports Ranch in Wilcox, Arizona. So there's a few. In Arizona Motorsports Park in Litchfield. So yeah, there's a few that host track nights here. So I just went to HDP. We'll try again. HPDEjunkie.com.
Mm-hmm.
And they list it by region, and they have an Arizona region with all the events listed on it. So
cool.
That's pretty neat. So I may have to do one this year once I've finished sorting out the suspension in that car. That'd be fun.
Yep.
Sweet. And I can even use, again, when I get the Colt sorted, I can use that there too.
Mm-hmm.
So
I did get I got a sticker on the Q. No problem on that.
For those who don't live in Massachusetts, he means inspection sticker.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not just like an auto off topic sticker.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah. So that car's all set to be driven more.
Excellent.
It kind of sputtered a little bit when I was driving it back, and I think the bad fuel got mixed up kind of in it. And then I was like, well, I've only done like 15 miles on this car.
Have you still not taken it for like a good solid run?
No, I need to blast it up the road.
You live like a mile from the highway. You should just take it around the corner.
It's not at my house right now. It's at my parents' house.
Okay.
I just haven't had time. Maybe this weekend in the morning or something, I'll take it up. Or actually, there's a Cars and Coffee coming up. Southern New Hampshire Cars and Coffee at the Motor Loft on Sunday morning, Father's Day.
That was a good one, actually, last time.
Yep. So I might take it up there.
Excellent.
I might have Stephanie follow me in her
just
car.
in case.
Well, she's like, can we come? Meaning her and the baby. And I'm like, well, I don't want you to go in that car because I don't want to be stuck on the side of the road in that car. So
Right.
I might just have her follow me.
Have her bring the G20. You can bring two cars.
I'll probably just
You
have her
can
follow me in her Crosstrek.
roll in all the 95 Infinities.
Yeah, because
This
it's
is
just
95 Infinity cars and coffee.
well, it's just easier to have the baby seat in the Crosstrek. So I mean, she's got
Excuses.
OCs on there. The car looks cool.
I mean, listen, it's cooler than half the stuff that shows up to
Yeah.
some of the cars and coffees you go to, so that's fine.
So anyway, yeah, that car just needs more miles put on it, and I'm gonna try to get it. I think up for sale by the end of July.
Is that going to be Marco's first car show?
Yeah, probably. Yeah,
Oh,
definitely.
well, I'm upset I'm not there.
Um,
I had to go and move away.
yeah. So that should be cool. What else I got going on? Oh, fun thing! Last Sunday morning, I a friend of your dad's through the concourse car world.
Yep, that we know nothing about.
Yeah, this nice gentleman. He has a '67 Mustang. He's had it for like 30 years. Did a full resto, concourse level car. He wrote this whole thing for, I forget which magazine it is, one of the Ford magazines. I don't know if there's that many left.
There aren't that many left, and I recently dealt with this because there used to be like 5 different Mustang specific magazines you could go to Barnes and Noble and buy. And when we started working on his Mustang here, I went to go buy a Ford Mustang magazine, and there were none. There was 0. Yeah.
So I guess he submitted this story, and they're like, "Yeah, we want to run it. You could, send some pictures in it. But if you get somebody a pro, who is that me?
Yeah.
To take some pictures of it, probably look a lot better, or be a really great story." So your dad gave my number, and we talked, and I was like, "Yeah, let's figure this out." So we met at there's a industrial park, kind of a couple towns over that I like for pictures. It was close to him, and your dad kind of said to me it was like a '67 Bullet kind of car, and I was like, "Yeah, that's cool." And I didn't. He told me what it was, and I was like, "Yeah." And I don't know. I must have missed what it was. And I show up, and it's a '67 Shelby GT 500, like 100% restoration concourse car. I'm like, okay.
And GT 500, not 350.
Yeah. So now I'm like, all right, now I'm nervous because I'm like, this is a really nice car. And that's the thing, right? So, and he was super nice, and he does drive it. It's plated. He's like, oh, I don't drive it more than like 20 miles at a time, but I'll drive it. And so that's cool.
So weird to me, but okay.
Yeah. Plus, he started up to move it. Like, man, that smells sweet. I feel like I'm at a racetrack. He's like, oh, it only runs on Avogas. Okay.
Yeah,
so 110 octane.
This is not how I would choose to enjoy a car, but you know what? I'm not gonna yuck his yum, right?
It was a beautiful car.
I'm sure it was.
I forget the color code, but it was green on parchment, which is cool because it's not a black interior.
Yep.
No stripes, other than the GT 500 stripes on the bottom.
On the rockers.
Just the rockers. No racing stripes.
Did it have the Shelby alloys?
I believe so.
They're like a 6-spoke, almost lattice-looking wheel.
It looked like hubcaps.
Oh no, they definitely don't look like hubcaps. I'll have to go back and look at the picture you sent me.
Yeah, I don't know anything about these cars. He just told me all about them. I didn't realize that 67s last year they were built in LA at Shelby American.
Yep.
So cool. Like he was showing me there's all these very specific things that for like the week the car was built that he had.
Oh yeah. Those are the alloys. That's what I was thinking of.
The underside of the hood, he had opened it because he wanted pictures of it. He had a couple. He pointed out a couple things he wanted pictures of because he has to submit those to when he wants to go to a concourse. I was like, yeah, no problem. I can do that. It's all right up my alley for doing technical writing, taking pictures of mechanical stuff.
Sure.
So the underside of the hood, it's steel, and then the hood skin is fiberglass, which was all done in house at Shelby, which is wild to me. Like, including the deck lid was the same way.
Awesome.
He showed me like the scoops on the side, which are functional, the vent into the car.
The ones on the quarter panels.
Yep.
Yeah.
Those are, he's like, a lot of people don't do this right. They don't put the silicone back in there when they restore it. I had to take a picture of the silicone for him. Was that concourse?
Yep.
It's cool. The lower scoops are actually functional. They do direct air into the rear wheel wells.
Oh, for like brake cooling, essentially, I
Mm-hmm.
guess. That's cool.
Um, it's a really, really cool car. 428 Cobra Jet, 4-speed. Um, I mean, immaculate restoration, right? Like,
The
just
best.
um, and looking at this car, to me, I'm like, this car in 1967 was like me buying a 2005 STI because it's really the same idea. It was a factory race car,
Yeah. Yeah. Or
and
I guess the more apt um, comparison would be like it'd be like you going to a Ford dealer today and buying a 2021 Ford Shelby Mustang GT 500.
yeah, um, yeah, I guess it's just funny to me. It's just that through line is like the same. Definitely through all of like car history, there's always been specific like racing limited edition models
Yeah.
that exist.
Well, thanks to homologation.
Yeah,
You know.
or just like car enthusiasts working inside of a car company just want to build a race car to sell to people,
Yeah.
and it's just kind of a cool thing
No, it
just to
is. It
see a
is
car
cool.
like this.
It is cool. And even something as simple as like maybe not so much your Galant, but kind of your Galant. It exists because race car. The
Yeah, that's
STI
true.
exists because race car. The Evo exists because race car. The Shelby anything exists because Shelby built race cars.
The only thing that's kind of a bummer, so the Galant doesn't have any like trick like competition parts on it.
I don't know. 4-wheel steering was exclusive to the car. The drive
Yeah,
line
but it
didn't
doesn't
come in the
have like,
car.
it's not like the later cars where Evos had aluminum hoods and bigger brakes and all these little trick parts that were different.
But doesn't the Galant VR4 not have different brakes than a base model Galant GS?
I honestly don't know. It's just got dual pistons.
Yeah.
Maybe the bases had singles.
Doesn't basically saying it doesn't have the Brembos like the STI or the Recaro seats like an Evo.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Okay.
saying.
Yeah, I
Or
gotcha.
like the aluminum hoods and like carbon fiber bits. Like,
They also didn't really exist as much in 1990 for production cars.
they didn't, but
But
that's what I
in,
mean.
in your case, the Mustang has the fiberglass parts that weren't made by Ford, and
Right.
same kind of stuff.
But then you had like
Different scoops and stuff.
um our buddy Alex had the JDM STI that had a lot of trick
Yep.
STI parts. And that was like a similar idea where it was pulled from the production line and then built as an STI
Right.
versus a regular WRX. So
Mustang's super cool looking. I can't wait to see what magazine it comes out in so I can pick up a copy because
yeah.
I'll have to do that.
Yeah. No, that was a super, super cool car. So
I like this idea of him just submitting to a magazine too. Can we do that? Write an
yeah.
article and submit it to a magazine? Does that work?
Yeah. I mean, it's probably easy these days. I don't think there's a lot of unfortunately a lot of money in print. So
No, probably not.
but yeah, he's way into it. That's like his only thing. I don't know what they're worth on the open market.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars more than
Yeah,
likely.
yeah. I don't know. I know it's a very expensive car, but um,
Yeah, I couldn't tell you what they're worth. It's funny. Car values to me have become so. It's not even a number I even think about anymore because it almost doesn't matter. Like there aren't many cars that the average person can afford anymore anyway, so it doesn't matter anymore.
no, this is definitely like a blue chip car, and
Yeah.
it would go to Barrett Jackets. Barrett Jacketson is the fancy one, right? Not Meekum. Meekum's like the lower one.
I mean, they're both pretty up there now. The super fancy one would be like Bonhams, but that wouldn't be a muscle car sale. It would be a Barrett
Yeah,
Jackson. Would be the muscle car sales. I mean, they're all kind of. I don't know how to say it, but they're all above us, I guess. So it says that they're around $200,000.
Yeah,
100 to 200 depending on
that's
condition.
who was joking with me that it's his retirement plan. So
Hopefully he's got a simple retirement plan
yeah, I hope
because
so.
you can't live very long on 200 grand.
No, but
Maybe his retirement plan is to save it for all these years and then finally drive it. That's what I would do. I'm retiring. Time to do a burnout in my Concourse Restoration Mustang.
I mean, I asked him if we would take it like to Amelia or something, but he's like, oh, it's kind of far. He's like, I do trailer it, but I'm like, hmm. He said the big one's like it's like ACA or something.
In Pennsylvania?
Whatever. It's like, is it ACA or some other group that certifies these concourse
Well,
vehicles?
there's the AACA. And then there's
I don't know. It's
know.
so crazy because it's like, um, he's like, even the zip ties. He's like that I have on the like brace, the tower brace there have to be correct. And like he was pointing out like a rubber hose that went to the carburetors, like a vent hose. It's like the correct Autolite hose that was used from April '67 to June '67 when the car was made or whatever. Um, it's just kind of crazy stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't even know how you expect a concourse judge to know all these things.
I think they have experts that are experts in these cars,
Yeah.
but then you also have to be an expert in these cars when you're restoring them. It's kind of wild.
I don't know. That's why you and I don't play this game. We have
Yeah,
drivers.
I know. I have a former coworker. Her husband is the researcher at Paul Russell because when you're doing concourse stuff, you need someone to research all the
Yep.
stuff.
Yep.
Crazy, right?
No, it doesn't. And again, I'm not going to make fun
I
of the
mean,
man because
is it
it's his
that
thing.
crazy? Because like when I was putting my Galant back together, I would find little things because I was working at the dealer. I'd be like, oh, well, that's the correct part that would go on it. Or I would take the original part and I would restore it to try to make it look like
Yeah,
the
but
way it was.
that's a car restoration for a car you're going to use. Again, I'm not going to harsh the man. I'm not going to make fun of the guy, but I don't get going to the level to the point where all you can do with the car is put white gloves on, push it in and out of the garage onto a trailer, drive it less than 20 miles at a time, and bring it to a show. Like it doesn't do anything for me. I
That's not
don't
for you,
understand it.
but that
It's
is his
yeah.
enthusiasm. Is that
And that's what I'm saying. I'm
knowing
not.
every little detail about it and being that obsessive about it? That is the thing for
Yeah,
them. Like it's just that is your thing. It's I guess
and that's what I'm saying. I'm not going to make fun of the man for it. I'm just going to say
no
that I don't understand it at
no.
all. It doesn't make any sense to me because the reason that you or I love cars is because we love using cars. We love every tactile part about a car, but most importantly, the driving of the car. Like, if I can't drive it, or if the ultimate goal isn't to use it, I don't understand having it. So,
Yeah, it's like having a 1-1 model kit, trying to make it
yeah,
exact.
yeah, exactly. It just doesn't. Like, I get having a model kit because I can have 100 models of cars that I want to look at, but I can't actually have them in my garage because I can't have 100 cars. So that makes the models and diecast make sense for me from that point. But if there was I don't know, I just don't get it. But it's not for me to get. So
I mean, it's a car spectrum thing. It's just something to obsess over and just like zero in and like focus on. And it's
I
just how
guess
you
I
enjoy
just
it.
prefer to zero in on cars in general.
I mean, you focus on old Japanese cars,
But I don't
specifically old Colts. You have
I
like
don't
five of them.
even. But I don't know. I have three, but I don't even know that I like. I don't get lost in just them. Like, I'm open to other things. It just happened to be that I wound up having these Colts because I seeked them. I seek I seeked I seeked them out originally, and then at that some point they started just to come to me. But I
I
still
mean,
have
when
my
you live in a
options
glass
open.
house, don't throw stones.
But I use them though.
You do use them, but I'm just saying there are certain things that about cars that you will obsess over. It's just an obsessive thing. It's not a
100%. 100%. I don't disagree with that. But what I'm saying is, like, I obsess over the the
there are people
car.
who obsess over detailing their car all the time. So
Yeah, those people are weird, and I am gonna make fun of them. I stumbled into a detailing thread recently on one of the social medias, and it was uh, I had to run away very fast. I learned that the bucket that I'm using to wash my car with, I might as well be scratching it with rocks, according to these
yes,
guys,
yes.
because the plastic material the bucket is made out of isn't worthy of my clear coat.
I don't know how we don't have a shortage of microfiber towels the way these people go through microfiber towels.
I don't know. I washed them. I guess I'm not supposed to wash them.
I wash mine.
Yeah,
Whatever. I
whatever.
try not to use fabric softener because it makes them not work as well.
All I care is that they get dust off of things. So,
I was speaking of
yeah.
real quick. I did wax the G20 finally. I
Excellent.
used. I was gonna do the polish compound or the compound polish, but I tried it on the trunk. And it was just a pain in the ass to get off, even doing small sections. So I was like, maybe there's a better way to get just like a cleaner wax. So I went to the store and found. I usually use a lot of McGuire stuff. I just find
Sure.
it works pretty well. It's easy to get, and it's not extremely expensive. It's like moderately priced. Like it's not like Griot's Garage stuff or some other stuff is like insanely priced
Yes.
for for wax.
Yeah.
McGuire seems to work really well for how much it is.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so anyway, they have a new stuff. It's like a 3-in-1 cleaner wax. It's like I don't know, it just said new in the box. It was like $20. Worked great. Just FYI for like doing a quick wax job.
I think that's what I bought.
It's black. Comes in a black
Yeah.
container.
I'll
I
have to
mean,
look.
for the car's got clear coat. You could definitely see there's scratches in the clear coat, but they're not deep scratches. They're just
Right, but also you use
certain
the
light
car.
catches them. Yeah, like if somebody took a DA to it, it would come back and be like really nice. But just I took those pictures of it just after the wax. It looked great. So
Yep. And you don't have to worry about it so much.
no,
So, I mean, even me, I recently got, the door and the side of the crest that I repainted. And I'm like all nervous about it all the time now. So,
see, that's obsessing over it.
yeah, 100%. But I'm still using it.
You are still using it, but it's just a thing to obsess over.
Yeah.
Like there's certain things that you want exactly right. You only want incandescent bulbs.
Sure.
So it's just, yeah, it's just a thing. I don't know.
Although I am pretty stoked because I got all new headlight buckets for the Toyota pickup, and they have 4 original Kyoto bulbs.
See, so now you're like for the concourse, you have original Kyoto bulbs.
Yeah. I'll have to take them out though, so I don't burn them out. Right.
Exactly. You can only put them in for the shows,
Only at nighttime.
for judging.
Right. No, I'm going to use them till they burn out, and then I'll replace them with Sylvanias.
Blasphemy.
Anyway, what about the social media, Andrew? Where can they find us?
As always, Auto Top Podcast on Facebook. Don't really post much there. It's being weird. It's kind of annoying.
Yeah, I pushed the Instagram stories over to the Facebook page, but the way the Facebook and Instagram, but the way the Facebook and Instagram like relationship kind of changed. I used to be able to post. The only thing we'd post on Facebook would be stuff that we post on Instagram. Really,
right
now I can't post. I can't push an Instagram post to Facebook because it wants me to log into your personal Facebook account.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know why it does this. It used to let you it used to let you associate our Facebook page with our with our Instagram account, and it would just post to them. But you're right. Now when I try to do it, I have to unlink mine and link it to this one. I'm like, well, why have to? Whatever.
Well,
so don't bother.
It started doing that for me, and I would link them back and forth. But then it got to the point where that didn't work anymore. And then it was like, please log in as Andrew. And I'm like, well, I don't want to log in as Andrew. And Andrew doesn't want me logged into his Facebook page. So no. Screw you guys.
So anyway, the best place to find us is on Instagram. So that's Auto Off Topic.
Yep. And obviously you on Twitter.
Yeah. And I'm also on Instagram, Race and Anger. But I'm also Race and Anger on Twitter. And for our Instagram account, though, you've been pretty diligent about posting diecast every day?
Yeah, in the stories section, you'll see a diecast almost every day. I did take the week off that I was there and the week after,
Yeah.
but I'm back at it this week, and I'll be doing it until I run out of diecast
It's a lot of
cars.
action. People like it, which is
Yeah,
probably
I'll be
not
doing it
soon.
until I run out of diecast cars in the year 2032.
Yeah.
If I do one a day on weekdays for the next 11 years, I might run out.
All right, cool. Where can they
Probably
find
won't.
you?
I am also on Instagram at TSISS350.
All right, awesome. As always, keep guys analog and aim for the roses.